We are very fortunate to have with us Shubamrita Swamiji as the chief guest. Brahmachari Shubamrita Chaitanya is a senior disciple of Amma and has been associated with Amma's ashram for over 25 years. He is in charge of the Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt ashram branches in Europe and Africa. Devotees know Shubji as the translator of Amma's Malayalam satsangs into Hindi during Amma's North Indian tours. In the ashram, Shubji regularly translates Amma's satsangs and question and answer sessions from Malayalam to English. Shubji grew up and completed his graduation in Mumbai. At the age of 9, he was one of the youngest cricket commentators of his times. Under Shubji's guidance, the youth wing of Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt, Ayuth, has become a major source of inspiration for the youth of Europe by undertaking several humanitarian projects. Shubji is also an accomplished singer. In spite of his hectic schedule, Shubji has always been kind enough to accept our invitation and address the students of our campus. We extend a hearty welcome to Shubhamrita Swamiji and request him to deliver the benedictory address.
मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ॐ अमृतेश्वर्यै नमः। I offer my infinite humble salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Amma, Honorable Principal Dr. Shankaran, Brahmachari Sudeep, the Director of the campus, Dr. Bala, all the faculty members of the Amrita institution, dear sisters and brothers, parents. Very happy that I have this opportunity to be here with you on the commencement day of your engineering course. I know it is a big difference from what you have lived till now. That is a difference in the change of environment. You're going to be here for 4 years. Many of you are going to be staying here permanently, as we have students from many parts of the country here. It's a time when you're away from home, away from your parents, missing the home-cooked food, and so many other things that are going to change, in a few days, right from today, in fact. But these are extremely defining years of your life. And I can assure you one thing, if you have that interest and you have that passion to excel, it is the most suitable environment for that. Because in Amrita, as Sudeep mentioned, of course we try to offer you the best of academics. At the same time, you also get a lot of opportunities to grow in all aspects of life, to make you a well groomed individual, a well groomed citizen of the world. In my travels all around the world, I meet a lot of Amrita students, students who have passed out of the institution. Many of them do come to me and say, Swami, we rebelled quite a lot when we were studying, rebelled inside. Of course, we didn't express it. That why is it that we have to follow so many rules and regulations, and why is it that we need to learn other things than our academics? But now we know how important all this has been. And it really makes us feel so grateful towards the institution. Recently, I was in the TUM, the Technical University of Munich. And one of the professors whom I was having a chat with, he mentioned to me that, when we know that there is a student coming from Amrita, we are quite, assured and peaceful, because we have seen the quality, the caliber of students coming from there. He says not only are they academically proficient, they also have the emotional maturity, and they are ready to work hard. And he says that that's why whenever he gets a request from Amrita, he's more than willing to accept the student. I felt quite proud. This is what our institution has been able to give. So though you may feel that these 4 years you're not able to exercise your freedom as much as you want, and there are so many rules and regulations, one thing that I would like to assure you, that it is all for your good, and you may not realize it now, but you will only realize it in years to come. As Sudeep mentioned, one of the greatest blessings that this campus has is that we are very close to the headquarters of the organization. We are very close to Amma, and she is such a great source of inspiration and a role model. And to get this kind of exposure can change many, many things in our life. I remember the commencement day of my course in my college. And our principal, he gave a very beautiful speech that day, which inspired us quite a lot. And he said to us that this is a time when you have to learn ABCD again. So we were like, what do you mean, ABCD? He defined ABCD in a different way. I would just like to kind of recollect those words, because I think it's extremely important for you in the present times as well, because I heard it, years back, but it still remains relevant. He said, A means it is to awaken the passion inside you, awaken the passion of learning. This is very important as a student. We don't want you to just be a mediocre student. We want each one of you to excel in your field of study. We can provide the environment, we can provide the resources, but you need to be fired up as well. You really need to have that intensity to know, to learn. This really helps this process to go on very fast. There's a very beautiful quote that comes to my mind. It says that the most powerful tool in the world is a soul on fire. If your soul is on fire, if you're really inspired by something higher, if you're passionate about something, you will not while away your time at all, because you would want to make the best use of every opportunity that comes. Mostly, why do we study? To pass the exams, right? Yes or no? Yes? And once the exams are over, how many of us remember our lessons? Very, very few. Some of them are laughing here. Because somehow we manage to keep it in the mind till the exam is over. And then, thank God it's over, Now we don't need to remember anything of it at all. By artificially creating an interest, of course, you might be very successful in life. You might get a job. You might be successful in a job interview. You might be able to occupy a position. But through this, you are putting an end to the genius which is there which is there inside each and every one of you. By just being artificially interested, you are somehow inhibiting this capacity in you to learn, to know things in the right way. I'm sure most of you have seen the movie Three Idiots, right? In Three Idiots, there's a very interesting dialogue that the hero says. He says, "You see the lion obeying the ringmaster in the ring. But what do you tell? What do you say about the lion? You say the lion is well trained. You don't say the lion is well educated. Because there, the lion is just doing out of compulsion whatever the ringmaster is telling you to do. But it is not really doing it out of its own interest. So, this is something that we need to do. We need to awaken the passion in us which will help us excel in our studies. I remember a quote from Socrates. He says, "Education is not just filling up a vessel." He says, "Education is lighting a flame." Filling a vessel, it's not that difficult. But to keep the flame lit, to keep up that passion, that is the real challenge. So that is something that we all need to develop right at this stage. We need to awaken that passion in us, that passion for learning. Once that is there, things become quite easy in life. Once you are able to keep it up, then you see that you don't really think of any other factor. You are not concerned much about how things are externally. You're more focused on the task in hand. If you see any successful person in the world, truly successful person, you can see this passion in them. Take Amma. Amma's life is such a beautiful example. As a child, when she saw suffering in the village, there was a deep questioning in her as to why is there so much inequality in the world? Why is there so much suffering? One answer that she got from within was, people are going through their karmas. They are suffering because of the actions done in the past. Immediately another question came up in her, that if they are suffering, is it my way that I just say that, oh, let them go through their karmas? I don't need to do anything about it. Again, the answer that came from within her was, no, if it is their karma, because that is leading them to the suffering, it is your dharma to serve them. As a little child, she had this passion of service. You can see it even after 40 years now. After this was as a child, so more than 50 years. Just imagine one person, one Amma, who has transformed the life of millions around the world, who has created this huge network of charitable institutions, which is doing such a human service to so many people, which is reaching out to so many people. Once you have that passion, it is possible. I would like to take other examples. You may say, okay, Amma is very special. But take others who have excelled in their field. I'm sure all of us had a great idol in Sachin Tendulkar, right? Recently I was, talking to one of my friends who played cricket with him. He mentioned to me that, as a youngster, this person would just go from one match to the other to the other. Because mostly in those days we used to play the Kanga League in school, which would get over like, when it's around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, the match gets over. He would immediately go to the next club and start practicing there. And there were days when he would visit 3 clubs just to practice. That passion was there till the end, right? That's what kept him so many years on top. So that's the first thing. We need to awaken the passion inside. Let us not put an end to the genius that is there inside each one of us. Let us not be mediocre, and let us keep excellence as the goal. Keep excellence as the goal, success will surely follow. The second thing, the B, believe in yourself. Never doubt your own capacity, your own talents. Once you know that this is what you want to do, you want to achieve in life, go all out to fulfill it. Our mind can be a doubting Thomas. It can tell us many things that, hey, don't aim so high. You may not be able to reach there. Aim something very low that can easily be achieved. There's no fun in that. Keep your goal higher, which will inspire you to put more and more effort. At the end of your life, or after some years, at least you will be satisfied. Your conscience will be satisfied that yes, I at least tried. I hope all of you attain the heights of success, but maybe you're not able to reach the goal that you set, but still you will be satisfied that you put the efforts. So believe in yourself. In no way kind of start disbelieving that, oh, I will not be able to do things. Also, it is important that we follow our dream. Each one of you now has reached a stage where you have crystallized your dream. You have got into engineering, you have crystallized your dream. Now you really need to believe in it, and you need to go all out. There may be fields that you have to choose, and you feel this is the best for you. If you are convinced about it, you have to go all out to achieve it. Don't kind of then start thinking what others are saying. It's not always beneficial to follow the crowd. They may say things, hey, this is more safe, you'll get more jobs here, you'll be more secure. But that may not really suit our passion or our talent. Choose something that you feel is close to you and you feel that you can, really attain. I'm always says, when you blindly follow somebody else, it really cripples you. It really makes you so small. There's an interesting story that I must say. Once there was a person who went to a tailor to get a suit stitched. So when he went later to check it, he found that the shoulders were too tight. So he said, hey, what is this? The shoulders are so tight. So the tailor said, no problem. When you wear this and walk, just bend a little. It should be okay. Then he said, but look at the back. There are so many kind of, it's kind of stretching so much. If I just lift my arms, it's going to tear. The tailor said, no problem. Just, walk like a hunchback. You just, bend yourself very much and keep walking. Just keep your shoulders this way, you'll be fine. This poor guy, he just followed all the instructions that the tailor gave, and he kept walking on the street this way. He had hardly gone 100 feet when somebody stopped him and said, brother, who is your tailor? So this man was already quite annoyed. He said, why do you want to know who is my tailor? The man said, if somebody can stitch such a perfect suit for a cripple like you, that man must be a genius. See, this is what happens. When we blindly follow others, we really cripple our talents, our capacities. Also, when you don't believe in yourself, what you will start doing is, you will start comparing yourself with others. He is doing this, she is doing this, look at me, what am I doing? I should have taken the other thing. Don't do that. Don't fall into this comparison trap. We all are unique in our capacities. Let us follow the calling of our heart, and let us not just be looking into others. Have you heard of the 18-40-60 rule? You're so quiet, at least tell me a yes. Have you heard of 18-40-60 rule? Say yes or no. No. Okay. The 18-40-60 rule is, they say when you're 18, that's your age, I think. You're mostly thinking of what others are thinking about you. You're always thinking about what are others thinking about me? What are they saying about my dress? What are they saying about my speech? What are they saying about the way I walk? We are always comparing ourselves with others. By the time you're 40, you don't give a darn to what others are thinking about you. You just want to continue with your life. By the time you're 60, you realize that nobody has been thinking about you at all. You don't need to be 60 to realize this. Right away, you have to exercise that. I am not just going to compare myself with others and pull myself down. I am going to move ahead. Another thing that I would like to say here is be very careful in the self-talk. We all have a self-talk going in our minds. But many a times we are so negative in things that we tell ourselves. The most powerful words in your vocabulary are the words that you tell yourself and believe. That's why you have to take a vow that I will never say things to myself that I sincerely desire not to be true. We should never say things to ourselves that we sincerely desire that it never comes true. But we always do that. We always imagine the worst scenario for ourselves. Let us be positive in our self-talk. That's why they say, a student should never use the words never and always in self-talk. What do you say? I'm never successful. I'm never good. I'm always a failure. Just select all these words and delete them once for all. We need to be positive in our thinking that yes, I will be able to achieve. If I will put the best of efforts, God willing, it is going to happen. That should be the strong conviction that stays in you. So we need to believe in ourselves. Otherwise, we are not going to use our capacities. Amma puts it beautifully. She says the greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is allowing the talents and capacities to die without using them. That is the greatest tragedy in life. Death is something that is a part and parcel of life. The greatest tragedy is when you allow your talents and capacities to die without using them. Just like Benjamin Franklin puts it, he says some people die at 25 and they are buried when they are 75. So if you lose your self-belief, you lose your passion, death has happened. You are then just mechanically living the rest of your life. Coming to the third aspect, that is C. C is character is very important. That's what our professor used to say. He used to say, you may be extremely passionate, you may be extremely, good in the field that you have chosen. You really believe in yourself. But with all these things, with your passion, with your commitment, responsibility, hard work, you have done very well. But at the same time, if you neglect character, he says, it can ruin everything in life. This is, in fact, the substratum. It is the foundation on which we can build up our life. At present, you may feel that, how can this be so important? You may not realize it now. But later, in coming years, you would realize how much character has played a role, in life. Because if you have a problem there, all the hard work that you have put in can just go waste. One small thing and everything can crumble down. I'm always says abilities and talents can take you to the top of the ladder of success. But to remain there, you need character. Otherwise, like Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, will soon kind of come falling down. Like Jack and Jill went up the hill, you'll soon be coming down as well. So you need talents and capacities to take you to the top. But to remain there, you need character. And this is a stage of life where sometimes we are so susceptible to external influences because we might be meeting new people, we might be meeting people from outside. These are times when we can easily, lose our focus. We might mess up our priorities, and we may fall prey to different kind of distractions and addictions. This is where you have to be very clear of what your priorities are, what your strengths are, and you need to be focused on that. Because if you lose focus, all this work that you have put in, I'm sure you have studied so hard to reach here. You don't want it to go waste. You have to be very, very careful of it. Amma gives a beautiful advice. She says, when you have to say no, never say yes. She says, saying yes when you have to say no is the cause of so many problems in the world. Just imagine, you know, a person who is a non-smoker, a student who is a non-smoker. A group of people who smoke regularly, they come and say, "Hey, take a puff." He says, "No, I can't do that. I don't like smoking. My parents don't, agree to it." They will say, "Hey, one puff. What's wrong in that?" At first, you don't want to do it, but then you think, what if I say no, and then, I'll be like a discard. They're not going to take me in their company anymore. So he says, okay. Instead of saying no, you say yes. You take one puff. The next day they say, look, you're fine, right? You didn't die or anything taking that puff. Try it again, take two. Take two then. The next day it becomes three. Then slowly you start thinking, hey, it's okay, I think, smoking one or two cigarettes once in a while, it's not a problem. Slowly becomes a part of you. You start smoking, one cigarette a day, slowly starts becoming one pack a day, just keeps growing. One addiction, then takes you to the second, to the third. Everything keeps jumping and kind of getting added to you. When you have to say no, say a firm no. Never say yes. Even the Mahabharata war happened because when Yudhishthira had to say no, he said yes. When he was invited for the game of dice, he knew that these people are expert in gambling. They are going to cheat us. But somehow inside him it was, how do I say no to my brothers? What happened? That one yes took so many lives. Isn't it? He lost his kingdom, lost his wife, everything. We all know the rest of the story. So we have to be extremely careful with our character. Because if that is strong, be sure you can go great distance ahead. Because then nothing will really shake you. Because you have the strong character that supports you. I was recently reading an article. There are 4% of engineering students who drop out after the first year in the whole of India. And analysis says that most of these people, they drop out because of character problems and addictions. Can you imagine 4%? It's not a small number. When you take the whole number of students who enroll in engineering in a year, it's in lakhs. Out of that, 4% drop out, and many of them because of problems with their character and because of certain addictions. So let us be extremely careful about it. Let us build a strong character based on certain ideals and principles. We have a great opportunity here because you cannot have a better role model than Amma for that. What is character? It's just the bringing together values and principles in life. That's what constitutes a character. If you take any value, you can see it so clearly in action in her. Take love, take compassion, take patience, take self-sacrifice, take forbearance. Anything, you have a living role model, and that can be extremely inspiring for you. So never let the character part slip, and keep that strong. So whenever you have lectures here on on spirituality or on self development, don't think that why do I need it. You need it because this has to be the foundation. So though you may be reluctantly coming, just try to at least be open to what people are saying. You could find that later it helps you tremendously in your life. Coming to the last point, It is the D, don't give up. We have all started the journey. Let us not give up that easily. Because when you go through 4 years or even more, if you're doing your MTech or your PhD, sometimes there are phases when you think, hey, I cannot continue. It's getting too tough. But at that time, you have to tell yourself that I have started the journey. I am going to finish it. I'm not giving up that easily. We have to somehow enforce that belief that I can do it. All of you have heard of Edmund Hillary, right? The person who climbed the Mount Everest with Sherpa Tenzing. There's a very beautiful lecture by him in New Zealand after his success, after he climbed the Mount Everest. He says he failed 3 times when he climbed. And people started sympathizing with him, saying that, I'm so sorry to hear that. And he said he didn't like it. People kind of coming and expressing their sympathy. So he said one day he had the picture of Mount Everest in his room. And he looked at the picture and he said, Mr. Mount Everest, you have a problem. He said, you can only grow this much. You have stopped growing. But I have not stopped growing. I can keep growing. I can do better and better. You are already there, but I have more and more chances to grow ahead. And he said that thought made him so confident the next time, it helped him reach the peak. So that's the thing. Whenever our mind says, hey, give up, it's not for you, we have to say, no, I have it in me. I'm going to give it my best. That's why you need to stick to one thing till you reach there. I feel even a postage stamp has so much to teach us. It sticks to one thing till it gets there, right? That's what takes the letter to the addressee, isn't it? It sticks to one thing till it gets there. So let us do that. Let us stick to one thing and let's make sure that we get there. There may be failures on the way. Let us take it as a lesson. Let us take it as an experience. Every effort is only going to make us better. We can never develop the fear of failure. If you fail, you have to say, I know the areas where I need to invest more energy. I know the areas that I need to avoid. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up that easily. I'm sure many of you have read Harry Potter, right? Or you have seen the movies at least. The author, J.K. Rowling. Have you read about her life? It's quite an interesting life. She was a single mother with no job. And, the only possession that she had, she says at that time, was a few clothes, books, and a typewriter. She was really on the street, not knowing what to do with her life. The only thing that she had was a story in the mind. And she was so confident that people would appreciate it. So finally, she put the story down on paper and she started sending it to the publishers. One after the other, each publisher started turning down. It went through 14 publishers. They all turned it down. The 15th publisher said, okay, we will print it. But they send a note saying that, Mrs. Rowling, please don't think that you can earn enough money through this book. So also look for a day job because such books don't sell that much. All of us know what happened, isn't it? She has become one of the richest women on the planet now. But she says, in one of her commencement speech, she says, had I stopped when the first publisher or the 5th or the 12th publisher turned me down, this book would have never seen light. Somehow, I had that belief in the story that I had in my head, and I thought people would like it. That belief, it kept me going. And somehow there was that voice inside saying, don't give up, keep moving ahead. That's the thing. We need to keep that voice, active all the time. Keep that volume, always pepped up inside you. That, I'm not giving up easily. I can achieve it. If you have this kind of a perseverance in your effort, you have the ability to continue, be sure you can reach the top. Dear sisters and brothers, I would like to conclude with a small advice from Amma. She says, success is not really the goal. Of course, success is very important. We all want to be successful in our careers. But there is one more step. You also need to transit from success to significance. We don't want to just die, as people who had a good job, a small family, everything was fine, and just our lives spread to just a small quarter. We would also want to share our lives with others. Success becomes significant when you share it with others as well. So that is extremely important in life. So how do you do that? Success becomes significant when you just don't live for yourself, you also live for others in society. That really changes the whole quality of your life. It really helps you to kind of, feel very happy and content. Because sometimes we might feel that, being successful will make me really happy. It's not like that. Sometimes, after you gain that success, there is a feeling, now what? It's so boring, it's so empty. But if you really need to cherish that success, you need to make it significant. That is, you need to share it with others as well. You just cannot live for yourself. You have to, also live for others. When you can do that, when you can translate that success into significance, see that you are extremely happy in life and you feel that you have contributed something. All of you have heard of Alfred Nobel, right? Alfred Nobel was the one who invented the dynamite. And they say that when, after the invention, he earned a lot of money. He had a very good life. One day he was reading the newspaper which said that Alfred Nobel, the inventor of the dynamite, is no more. He was reading his own death news in the newspaper. There was some false reporting. And he was shocked. And they said Alfred Nobel, 62, is survived by his wife and 2 children. He died of cardiac arrest or something. So he was extremely angry. He was about to take the phone and call the journalist, when he suddenly thought, wait a minute. This is the way the world is remembering me. Alfred Nobel, the inventor of the destructive dynamite, is no more. When I really die, I don't want the world to see me as just the inventor of the destructive dynamite. What he did was, he pooled in all his resources. He, got a lot of help from his friends, and he formed the Nobel Trust. And it is this Nobel Trust that gives the Nobel Prizes every year, in science and literature, the Nobel Prize for Peace, everything. Now when people talk of Alfred Nobel, nobody remembers the dynamite. Everybody says, oh, the founder of the Nobel Trust that is doing so much. See, that's where, he decided that, it has to be something significant. It has to be something that benefits the world as well. So that should be our goal. Let us make our lives significant. Let us contribute let us contribute to society as well. That will make ourselves truly happy and truly content in life. I pray to Amma, for her infinite blessings to be always upon you, taking you to the height of success and significance, and to, to give you all the strength to go through this life of, this 4 years that you're going to spend, with using your utmost capacity, and you're able to kind of make the best use of every minute that you spend in the campus. Thank you very much for your patient listening.